Well. Further to yesterday's video, this bad boy's up on the BBC. And you know the BBC, spineless, craven, commie bastards that they are, they don't go near anything that's even remotely critical of China unless it's definitely 100% credible. They wouldn't be publishing this if it was just a conspiracy theory. It says, coronavirus, is there any evidence for the lab release theory? Hoo-hoo! Spicy BBC. It says, US State Department cables show that embassy officials are worried about biosecurity at virus lab in Wuhan, China. Wuhan, China. Where do I know that fucking word from? Wuhan. Oh yeah. Hideous market of death. The lab is in the same city where the coronavirus outbreak first came to the world's attention. And President Donald Trump has said the US government is looking into unverified reports that the virus escaped from a laboratory. Unverified reports, eh? You can fool some of the people all the time, or all the people some of the time. But someone's going to have blabbed. I mean, there is over 1 billion of the fuckers. I'm sure 1 or 2 have managed to get some information out there. So what, if anything, does this add to our understanding of the current pandemic? Oh no, I've just realised though. It's finally ruined my rule of no. You know, if any BBC headline ends in a question, the answer's always no. Is there any evidence for lab release theory? Maybe. I'm ashamed. It's sad that. I had a good run there. There was at least 200 headlines where the answer was always no. Maybe if it's science ones, maybe it's different. Anything to do with fucking sociology, it's no. Like, are there 38 genders? No. Are lesbians better husbands than men? No. Is a 4'9", scrawny, 120-pound female lesbian a better logger than a burly Canadian lumberjack? No. What do the cables say? The Washington Post newspaper has reported information obtained from diplomatic cables. They show that in 2018, US science diplomats were sent on repeated visits to a Chinese research facility. Officials sent 2 warnings to Washington about inadequate safety at the lab. Fucking hell, the plot thickens. The column says the officials were worried about safety and management weaknesses at the Wuhan Institute of Virology and called for more help. It also claims diplomats were concerned the lab's research on bat coronaviruses could risk a new SARS-like pandemic. The newspaper says the cables fueled more recent discussions in the US government about whether the WIV or another lab in Wuhan have been the source of the virus behind the current pandemic. In addition, Fox News has also issued a report promoting the lab origin theory. Well. Sounds like my mate Jeff there, who just yesterday posted in the comments, it's gonna go beyond this. Turns out he sounds like he was right to me. The outbreak came to light late last year when early cases were linked to a food market in Wuhan. But despite rampant online speculation, there is no evidence of any kind that the SARS virus was released accidentally from a lab. Oh, well, this is the BBC. There is no evidence of any kind. Fucking we'll see. We'll fucking see. There's no smoke without fire. You ever heard that one? Fucking BBC? Yeah, the BBC have a different version. They'll say something like, if you go in their office, the adage they use will be something like, even if you see a little Chinese bloke sprinting away from a burning block of flats, wearing a balaclava, carrying a jerry can full of fucking gasoline, and hurling Molotov cocktails, he probably didn't start the fire. No, he definitely didn't start the fire, because all Chinese are glorious, hard-working, polite, diligent little bastards, and all white people are fucking evil. Even Florence Nightingale. What kind of security measures do labs use? Laboratories studying viruses and bacteria follow a system known as BSL standards, Biosafety level. There are 4 levels which depend on the type of agents being studied. Biological safety level 1 is the lowest and used by labs studying well-known agents that pose no threat to humans. The containment precautions increase with the levels until you arrive at 4, which is the highest, and reserved for labs dealing with the most dangerous pathogens for which there are few available vaccines or treatments. Ebola, Marburg virus, and in the case of 2 institutes in the US and Russia, smallpox. The BSL standards are applied internationally but with some cosmetic variation. But while the WHO has published a manual on the different levels, the standards are not enforced by any treaties. They've been developed to be the best interest for working safety, for lab workers who don't want to infect themselves or their community, and for the environment to avoid accidental releases, says Dr. Lentzos. But she adds, the stick comes with the purse strings. If you want to do projects with international partners that require labs to be operating to certain standards, or if you have products to sell in the market or perform certain services, like tests, then you are also required to operate to international standards. Indeed, the Wuhan Institute has received funding from the US, along with the assistance from American research institutes. The cables recommended giving them even more help. What kind of security failures were they describing? We don't know from the information provided by the Washington Post, but there are multiple ways the safety measures can be breached. Who has access to the lab, the training and refresher training of scientists and technicians, procedures for record keeping, signage, inventory lists, accident notification and emergency procedures. But how unusual were the concerns expressed in the diplomatic cables? Accidents happen. In 2014, vials of smallpox were found in a cardboard box in a research centre near Washington. In 2015, they shipped live anthrax samples instead of dead spores. Fucking hell. So then they just switch it around and slag off the fucking Americans for the rest of the story, yeah? And then after some anti-American hysteria, we're back to the good stuff. Weren't there previous claims of the virus leaking from a lab? Yes, almost as soon as the coronavirus came to light. There was speculation. Most of it uninformed. Fucking hell. It's like, was this written by fucking Chairman Mao's granddaughter? Fuck me. For every bit of actual news about the Chinese possibly releasing this shit from a lab, there's 20 sentences sucking Chinese cock. One online theory that went viral in January suggested the virus could have been engineered in a lab. These allegations have been repeatedly dismissed by scientists. Viruses can also be engineered for the purposes of fundamental scientific research. But a US study of the coronavirus genome published in March found no signs that it had been engineered. Alright, well, we'll see, won't we? Seriously, who eats a bat? Fucking, I would rather have a pube sandwich than a fucking bat. Pubes don't eat the feces of other animals. That the WIV had carried out a research on bat coronavirus is a matter of public record. It was entirely legitimate and was published in international journals. Yeah, entirely legitimate. Fucking, in fact, let's just stop, eh? It's like basically they've got the news out there because they had to, because it's very, very credible and it's being reported by the Washington Post, Fox News and a bunch of other organisations that the BBC can't ignore. Like they normally ignore everything that's fucking doesn't push their agenda. But this is out there, so now they've had to put a story out there. And what have they done in the story? Well, they've basically done 2 sentences telling you what the fucking stories are and then just spent the rest of the time talking shit about America and saying how fucking splendid the Chinese are. What a load of fucking shite. Typical bastard BBC. Big beautiful China. That's what it stands for. It's not bumming, buggery and cock. It's big beautiful China. Doesn't it annoy you that you're actually paying for this? If you're a UK taxpayer, you actually have to pay for the BBC. Like Netflix or fucking Hulu or something. You're fucking forced to pay for it. And it's shite. If I had to pay for one news organisation in the UK, it fucking wouldn't be the BBC. I'd rather pay almost anyone. Well, not Channel 4. Kathy Newman works for them and she's got the IQ of a fucking pull-along duck. But, fucking hell, anyone but the BBC. The big bad communist news agency. The Telegraph. They're alright. Give them some money. If you want to pay for your news, give the Telegraph some money. Fucking BBC. So yeah, there we go. Actually, let's have a look and see what the Fox News one has to say. Sources believe coronavirus outbreak originated in Wuhan lab as part of China's efforts to compete with the US. The plot thickens, you devious Chinese bastards. There is an increasing confidence that the COVID-19 likely originated in a Wuhan laboratory, though not as a bioweapon but as part of their attempts to demonstrate its efforts to identify and combat viruses are equal to or greater than the capabilities of the United States. Multiple sources who have been briefed on the details of early actions by China's government and seen relevant materials tell Fox News. Multiple sources. This may be the costliest government cover-up of all time. Sources believe the initial transmission was a naturally occurring strain that was studied there and then was back to human, and that patient 0 worked at the laboratory and then went into the population in Wuhan. Motherfucker. Right? So that leads on from what I was talking about yesterday. China need to get a fucking bill. Right? A fucking bill. They've cost us money. If you buy product from a wholesale company, let's say you're a massive American company, Walmart, and you buy 10 million bags of rice from a Chinese wholesale company, and you buy it, and the rice is contaminated, and you poison a shit ton of your fucking customers. You're perfectly entitled to fucking bill the wholesale company for all of the fucking money it costs you. Not just loss in revenue, all the lawsuits, all the shit the angry fucking peasantry will come out with demanding compensation because you had them shitting through the eye of a needle for 3 weeks because you poisoned them all. You would be on the hook if you owned that Chinese wholesale company. So these fuckers, if it turns out, well, we know it will. Everyone knows it came from Wuhan. I said as much yesterday. But if it turns out it was from a lab, indisputably so, these fuckers are on the hook. The Chinese government should pay a significant amount of money in compensation to all of the fucking nations on Earth that have been fucked by their bastard coronavirus. Especially the ones around them. Australia's been fucked. I'm sure South Korea and all the fucking neighbours have struggled as well. Japan. The entire fucking world needs to hold these fucks accountable, like I said yesterday. It is outrageous what they've done. They've cost the world economy trillions. And those fuckers should be on the hook, just like if it was a Chinese wholesale company selling fucking batshit chicken McNuggets to fucking McDonald's. Their fault. We're all in the fucking hurt locker. And all these twats on the BBC want to cry about it. Ooh, someone was mean to a Chinese person outside a gym. I saw someone make a snide remark to an Asian on the bus. Whippy fucking do. We've all had to put up with snide remarks in our life, haven't we? But we didn't cost the world economy fucking $10 trillion and ensure that tens of thousands of people are going to starve to fucking death. Chinese have got to be on the hook for this shit. Everyone should, all of the big G7 countries, all of the fucking top nations on Earth, they all owe money to China. Germany, France, Britain, Australia, America, Canada, Mexico, everyone who owes them cunts money needs to club together, come together as one and say, you necky bastards owes some fucking money. And if you're not willing to make reparations and apologise and hold your hands up and say, we fucked up, lads, well, then we're not paying you. I think we owe the Chinese a few $1 trillion, don't we? Fuck them. If everyone joins in, what they're going to do? Germany, Britain, France, America, all the biggest economies, Brazil. Anyone who owes the Chinese a dime, just say, fuck you. You're not getting it. We don't trust you useless cunts. You poisoned the fucking well. Smoke my fucking pole, communist motherfuckers. Yeah? You're playing at capitalism now, lads. And this is how capitalists do business. You cost us money, you get fucked. We ain't paying you. That's what we need to do. Let's see what happens. Let's see if any of the shower of shite that we call leaders in the rest of the Western world. Trump's the only one who appears to have any balls. Let's see what the fucking EU does. And fucking Boris. Because it's time to fucking hold these cunts accountable.